Good morning, everybody. It's almost afternoon now, I guess. Here, anyway, and so I've got apples in the sink, a sink of water that's got vinegar in it. No, I'm not bobbing for apples. What I'm going to do is make some apple butter. So the first thing I want to do is get these apples really well cleaned up, and then I will bring you back for what I do next. Okay, my apples are all washed up. They're still wet. All I'm going to do is quarter them. This is a mix of Granny Smith and Red Delicious, if you can tell or not, I don't know. I'm just going to quarter them, throw them in the pan, and cook them for a little while, just to get them good and soft. Then I will put my Victoria food strainer up here on this board, get it clamped down real good, and I'll put the apples through the food strainer after they're soft. Okay, got my apples all quartered. The recipe calls for peeling, quartering them, all that, coring them. I don't do that usually. You haven't done it before. This works out really good because you get a really good color from the peels. So let me get this over here on the stove. This pan's full. It's probably about 9 pounds of apples. It calls for 6. This is one of those recipes you can kind of play with because the apples are very high acid. That means that you just do this more or less to appearance and to taste. Sorry, I'm chewing on a piece of apple because I saved a little bit for myself. It's very good. So, I'm going to get this on the heat. Put the lid on the pan and let these apples start getting cooked down so I can put them through the food strainer. Okay, I'm going to put this Victoria food strainer together now. I've got all my parts here. They're all freshly washed up. This is the strainer part that the fruit goes through, and it takes out the peels and the cores and seeds. When I put the gasket in there, I don't know if you can see that, the ribs on the gasket will point towards the strainer itself. Okay, you put the spring in here on the center part. Yeah, you're seeing that. Put the spring on that center part. There's a hole in the middle of this that lines up with this. It's a slot kind of that lines up with this flat part. Get that lined up as good as you can. Make sure that this little screw is loose. Find there's 2 notches. You line them up on the outside of this wedge-shaped part, and then you push like crazy and get it on there. And it's not easy. That spring is really tight. My son a lot of times does this part for me, but he's not here today. Let me see. Let me get this together off camera. Struggling. Okay, I got it on there. I really had to push on it. On this part, it gives you an arrow to push in, put it on, you go that way. To take it off, you go that way. So that's what I've got. I've got it on there. I had it started right. I just didn't have enough power at the moment in my arms. Okay. It's on there. It's twisted all the way to the fat part of those wedge-shaped locks. Turn the set screw down tight. Keep it from moving. I'm going to go ahead and put it on the board. Up as far as you can get it. You can do this on the edge of a table. If your table actually has a leaf in it, and it's difficult to get it on the edge of the table, you can open that leaf up a little bit and put this right in there where the leaves come apart, because that part will be won't be so thick as the edge. Tighten it down. Got it too far back, I think. Few jars behind me, as you can hear. Get it really tight, because as you turn this, it wants to work loose a little. Okay. Now, this little part, where are you at? This little part here goes right on the front. It just snaps on. That's it. This part is the chute, and it just snaps on. Just like that. It's gonna, let me show you something on it. This side of it, this side is larger than this side. So that's how you know which way it goes. The big side goes towards the main body. Okay. Here's the hopper. This is funnel shaped. Get you pulled back a little so you can see better. The hopper just sits in there. The handle has two little bumps on the side, and it fits into a certain spot in here. There. Now it's in. It's not locked in. It's just in, but that's what makes it turn. I don't turn this until I've actually got something wet, like when the apples are done. But I'm gonna let them cool down. But you want something wet in here, because it'll turn a lot easier. And here's the food pusher. Get this out of the way. Apple seeds everywhere. Move these off out of the way so that they don't get apple juice and stuff on them. A lot of people have issues with liquid coming out this part. So far, knock wood, I have not. It's done pretty good. And I'm not sure, because that's just a plastic or silicone or something gasket thing in there. And it may eventually need replacing. I don't know. But anyway, this is all put together. I'll get a pan to put under here, and I'll get another pan to put out here. The juice, the apple pulp and juice, will come out this side, and the peels and seeds will come out this side. If they're still pretty wet when they come out, I may run them through again. I don't always. Sometimes I do, though. Alright, as soon as the apples cool down enough to put in here, I'll bring you back. Okay, my apples are soft. I don't know how long I cooked them, maybe 30-45 minutes. Anyway, it doesn't take long. And I had all these apples, probably about 8 pounds of apples. And I put 4 or 5 cups of water. This is one of those recipes you don't have to be super precise on. So, and they're cooled down some. So I want to start putting them through the food mill, and I'll do a little bit of that on camera, and then I'll get the rest of them done off camera. And I'll tell you, after you get them through the food mill, you can stop right there and just count it up for applesauce. Sweeten it to however you like it. Add cinnamon or whatever. Yeah, they're already dripping. I want to get that down in there because you do not want to be turning this handle until you've got something wet in there. There. So, start milling these out. It smells so good. And it's kind of pink colored. I didn't add any lemon juice for color preservation because it's going to wind up being apple butter. And apple butter is traditionally kind of brown because of the seasonings in it. And usually because of brown sugar. I'm out of brown sugar. I'm going to have to use straight up white sugar in these. Then some cinnamon. And maybe not much else. I'll just taste them. I won't use a lot of sugar. Alright, just want to stop for a minute. Get a spoon. Get my doors out of the way. See if you can see this. Not very well, can you? Oh my goodness. Let me turn that down right there. Bring it in. I want you to see the applesauce looking stuff that's coming out of there. It's kind of dark right here because it's getting late in the day. But anyway, it looks really good. I could just eat that right now. It's pretty finely done. It's coming through there very well. You just crank it, and the sauce comes right through. This is such a great device. I love it. Okay, I'll bring you back in a few minutes. Okay, I've got it all milled. As soon as I get the apple butter on the stove to start cooking down, I'll get this cleaned up because you don't want to leave this screen for the stuff to dry out. Let me get a little taste of this. I already took one little taste. That is actually perfect applesauce right there with nothing in it. You wouldn't need anything else. If you want to stop there to make the applesauce, it'll be perfectly fine. Okay, this is sort of a homemade double boiler. Got water in here. It's up to about here in the pan. I don't have regular electricity, so I can't use a crock pot, okay? So what I'm getting ready to do now is put in some sugar. I'm going to put in 2 cups of sugar. Start with that. This is a 1/2 cup measure, so it'll be 4 of these. 2, 3, 4, close enough. And let's see. This is my cinnamon. I got it from the Mennonite store. And it's probably the best cinnamon we've ever had. I won't go back to regular grocery store cinnamon anymore. It's awesome. I wish you could smell this. It's the best ever. So I'm going to put in a tablespoon of cinnamon. We really like cinnamon. And then I've just got a whole lot of other little spices. I've got some ground ginger. I'm not real crazy about ginger. So I'm just going to put in 1/8 of a teaspoon. But I do like a little bit of ginger. This is some nutmeg. It's okay. It's not, you don't want it put too much in, so I'll put in 1/4 of a teaspoon. If you don't like nutmeg, leave it out. A little bit of nutmeg. Some ground cloves. It's another one I'm not too crazy about, but it kind of needs this little bit of spice in there. That's all I've got in this bowl. 1/8 of a teaspoon is all it's getting, because it's not my favorite. And some ground allspice. And I'll put 1/4 of a teaspoon of that in there. When you're cooking like this, cooking something down like this, you don't want to go too heavy on the seasonings, because they can get very strong and very bitter. So let me stir all this in. It smells good. Now see, with cloves, I love the smell of cloves, but it's my opinion that cloves can be a real bully in canning. So that's why I just put a little bit in there. Stir it all in good. When this is all done, later on I'll turn on the generator and put it through the blender. Get a little taste. Could really use some more sugar. We want our apple butter pretty sweet. Much sweeter than applesauce. Sugar's getting hard to get out of the bottle there. I have to open another bag. Just going to dump the rest of that in there. It's about another 1/2 cup or so. But you get the idea. This is one of those things that can be your whatever you want in it, as far as the seasoning, the sweetening. And after it's blended up, it looks like applesauce right now, but after I get it blended up, it'll be just as smooth as silk. So let me let this cook down, and I'll bring you back when it's time to put it in the jars. Okay, I want to show you the difference in the appearance of nothing like having a tiny little house. This is the apple butter after I have put it through the blender. It's silky smooth. Let me get another spoon out. So you can see, look at this. Look how beautiful and smooth this is. And here is what it looks like before. You see that? See how chunky it is? Nothing wrong with it like that. But we like having it really smooth and silky. So I'm going to blend it all up and put it over in a different pan, just because I don't have another one this size, and get it hot and start my canning process. I'll bring you back. Okay, I'll be using my steam canner again today. I'm really liking that thing. Got my towel soaked in vinegar, lay it right there. Jar, they're already hot, and I've got the fire back on under them. Yeah, this is a jelly jar that I got from somewhere, I don't know, but it's an actual jelly jar, and that's what I'm going to be using. So, I think that this is cooked down far enough. Tested it with a spoon, and it's standing up in the spoon. Bring it up to a 1/4 inch headspace. piling up even in the jar. So once it gets cool, it'll be even thicker. Oh, I need something to set my... Hold on, let me get something to set my... Because otherwise, if I was just to lay my funnel down, it'll mess everything up. Okay, my vinegar soaked towel. Wipe the rim. Jars are really hot. Put on a clean lid. One ring. There. And that's it. As always. I don't know how many I'll get out of this batch. I've got quite a few jars in the canner, in the steam canner, ready to go. And if I have more apple butter, then I'll get some more jars out. But in the meantime, I'll just fill these jars up. You notice I'm not debubbling. The way apple butter is, it'd be just about impossible to debubble it because it's so thick. But it's also really hot, so a lot of the bubbles are naturally driven out just from the heat. And I try not to stir this too much and incorporate much air into it. Clean lid. Ring. Alright. I'll bring you back in just a little bit. Okay, you can see the steam coming out of that little hole right there. I've already set my timer and I've checked the gauge on the top. The temperature gauge is on that handle and it's right. So I've set my timer for 10 minutes for my apple butter. I'll bring you back when I get ready to take the jars out. Okay, the timer has already gone off. The timer that's going off now is for the 5-minute wait time. Turn that off. Take off the lid. Whoa, they popping? Listen to them popping. Woo! Y'all hear that? I hope so. Because I don't think it's going to do it again. Man, they pop like crazy. Kind of scared me a little bit. But anyway, here we go. Put this lid in here. And I'll bring you back with a little bit of an update at the end. Okay, so there we are. There's only one that I think, one or two maybe, that haven't, this one hasn't sealed yet. But, you know what? Just like always, I'll give it till tomorrow. If it doesn't seal then, we'll either go ahead and put it on ice or we'll start eating it. I really don't care if one doesn't seal because this stuff is pretty awesome. Here's what's left in the pan. I still have to can and be up a while. See how glossy that is? I just love the looks of that. It's so silky looking. Alright, I hope you enjoyed this and learned a little something. Please like, share, and subscribe. And leave a comment. Tell me what you think. Thanks for watching.